So in this video, I want to talk about how to buy 888 Tron tokens, and I also want to kind of give a full analysis about where we're at with 888 Tron, as well as the future of 888 Tron and TronBet, because they both kind of overlap just a little bit. So first of all, talk about how to buy tokens. The easiest way to buy tokens, but I don't recommend this, and I'll tell you why. The easiest way to buy tokens is come over here to Tron Trade and buy them off this decentralized exchange. It works very similar if you've ever purchased tokens off of Binance or anything else. I don't necessarily recommend that you come over here unless you see like a good price. Right now it's a little over 30, I think it's about 30.45 Tron to mine. I would just mine it personally. I'm not telling you what to do. This is not financial advice in any way, shape, or form. This is just my personal opinions and commentary. Consider this channel nothing but entertainment. But I would mine it over buying it unless it was a really good price. I bought some this morning, but I think I got it at like 28, 27, 28. I got it at 28 Tron. It was a pretty good price. If it slips like that, then obviously, you know, take advantage of it. But for the most part, I definitely recommend mining for a lot of reasons that you may or may not have considered. First of all, keep in mind, when you own the tokens, you're getting a dividend. You're getting a dividend that's split among all the current tokens mined, and that dividend is going to be, you know, is going to get paid out every other day based off all the current tokens mined. So when you buy tokens on Tron Trade, those tokens just go to another person. I mean, that money, that Tron goes to the person who's selling you the tokens. Probably there's a fee in there as well for the DEX, but that's where that money goes, so to speak. And I'm not saying don't ever sell your tokens necessarily, or that you should never ever buy on an exchange. I'm just saying there are things to consider. As a partial owner, when you're buying in, you want to do your best to support the platform. One way to support the platform is when you buy tokens through mining, or when you earn tokens or get tokens through mining, the cost of mining goes directly to the dividends, which grows this dividend pool. And when the dividend pool goes up, it helps everybody. Now, I want to explain how to mine real quick, just as a recap. I've covered this before, but I see a lot of people asking questions about this. Again, not investment advice. This is a risky space. The returns right now are astronomical. I've never seen anything like it. I don't know that I will ever see anything like it again in my lifetime. But that doesn't mean that it's a safe investment, and it doesn't mean that you should be here. So if you're not familiar with this space, I'm not telling you to come here and start, you know, quote unquote mining. But here's the thing. First of all, it's important to understand that mining is different than Mining is different than gambling. If you notice, I'm at a 96.15% chance of winning. I'm not over here doing like, you know, this over here, you know, doing something where I'm trying to, you know, let's do it. I'm not trying to get to, this would be gambling. You know, you like come over here and you roll. Let's see what happens. Do I win or lose? Do I lose? Do I win? Come on. Come on. Oh, I lost. Let's double it. Win or lose, win or lose. Let's see what happens. Come on. See, this is gambling. In fact, this is a martingale strategy. Am I going to get it? No. All right, one more time. One more time. 2,000 Tron. Here we go. 2,000 Tron total. 1,000. Come on, do I win? Do I win? Oh, come on. Yay! I won. That's gambling. In fact, that was a martingale strategy. Don't recommend you do that. So that, just so you know, that was the highest I was going to go if I'd have lost that. But that's gambling. I don't recommend that you necessarily do that unless you want to gamble. But that's not necessarily the same thing as mining. The way you mine is you wager 880 tokens, not lose, wager, which means I just wagered 1,000 tokens. I actually got one TRX, probably got two with all that I was doing. Even though I come out in that set of 3 bets, I actually ended up coming up ahead 250 Tron. I got tokens because I wagered for every 880 Tron you wager, you're going to get 1 token. The house edge, if I've done my math right, is about 3.5%. So the way you figure that out is you take 3.5% of 880. 880 times 3.5% equals, did that wrong? $30.8. Every token right now that you mine is going to cost at least 30 TRX, 30.8 TRX. Now, some people say, well, I've mined and mine were a lot higher than that. I have too. I actually mined one time with 40,000 Tron and ended up with like 40 something. It was like 47 TRX per token. The reason that happens is because you run hot or you run cold. You have good luck or you have bad luck. However, keep in mind, the way casinos make money is they know over time, over enough bets, the statistics will always prove themselves. So it's recommended that you mine small wagers. You really shouldn't mine this much if you only have 13,000 TRX over here. But you mine small wagers. The smallest you can mine is 50. You go to a 96.15% win rate because you're trying to win as much as possible, lose as little as possible, and you just turn into auto and you let it run. And you're essentially mining right now. That's how that works. Now I'm probably going to go back. If you mine higher, my rule of thumb is if you have 1,000, if you have like, technically if I have 50,000 or less, I shouldn't be using more than 50. That's my personal, that's me personally, because I know it takes thousands of bets for the statistics to somehow work out in there properly. Thousands of bets, not hundreds, thousands. So that's what I recommend. Now I'm currently not following my own advice. I'm gambling a little bit because I'm trying to get these tokens as fast as I can. So here we go. So I'm going to keep doing that for a little while longer. And if it goes in your favor, you actually can get tokens for less in the short term. You can get tokens for less than 30.8. So now that you know how to mine for tokens, here's what's important to understand. As you're mining for tokens, that 30.8 per token that you're paying ultimately goes in the div pool. And these divs go up. So the next payout is going to be day after tomorrow, and then it's going to be 890. When I started mining, I think it was down to 860. Every 2 days, the cost to mine, you got to wager more, is what that means. So to get more tokens, you have to wager more, which means that as people are mining, it takes more dividends go into the pool per token mined. So it kind of slows down. That's important to remember because I'm going to show you a comment someone said earlier, and they kind of missed the boat. They said they basically, I'll show you in a minute. But just keep in mind, as you're mining, the way the math is figured out here, you end up getting paid out more divs, and mining slows down. Now it's not in relation to one another because they do it basically based off time. No matter how much gets mined, every 2 days the cost goes up. TronBet did that a little bit differently. It was based off of a certain volume. It went up in stages. Theirs is timed at 888 Tron. Every 2 days it goes up, which creates urgency because people want to hurry up and get it as cheap as they can. It doesn't matter if anyone else is mining or not. It almost doesn't matter how high the divs are if you believe that the platform is going to do well long term. You want to mine as much as you can while it's as cheap as possible. So when you're mining as opposed to buying on an exchange, you're going to be able to, obviously the big thing is that you're going to ultimately start creating awareness. It's not just about helping the platform. It's really even bigger than that. It's about creating awareness. The dApp space in general, I mean, a lot of people don't fully understand this yet. So when dApp Review, dApp Radar, and all these different places, when people are seeing dApps and they see there's a dApp out there that's doing this massive transactional volume, that creates awareness in the dApp space in general. Not to mention, a lot of people out there, when this starts getting covered, even people that are into Bitcoin, people that are into Ethereum, they don't, it's one thing just to be a Bitcoin hodler, but a lot of times they don't understand things like, how things can use a blockchain to be provably fair, for example. Where's that at? Somewhere over here. Fairness. How can it be provably fair? How does that work? How can they use hash rates to be provably fair instead of just random number generators, which is what casinos and computer online casinos have used for years. So it's provably fair. You can't say that you're getting tricked. That's a big deal. Well, the general market doesn't even understand that advantage to blockchain yet. So it's about creating the awareness. The other thing is the smart contracts that's in place. I mean, you get paid out here in part with the smart contract. People, this is another thing where people are like, well, what is a smart contract? How does it work? How does this operate? So it's just about creating awareness. And once you create awareness, there's education follows awareness. And that's huge. That's huge. Not to mention, in general, the efficiency of this business model, right now. There's this, we don't know who's running 888 Tron. All we know is this organization is making a tremendous amount of money. Why? Because they also are holding tokens. It's possible 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of these people are the company's owners. That's absolutely possible. And they're mining just like the rest of us. Why? Because they also earn divs. They also want more tokens. They want to hold more tokens, etc. Now, let's talk a moment about where do I think that we go from here. First of all, I've heard people say things like, oh, the price is going to skyrocket. Someone said to me earlier today, the price of this token is just going to moon. Well, it's on Tron Trade right now. It's at 30.6. I don't think it's going to moon. Someone said day before yesterday, I referenced in one of my videos, this wasn't available to buy on an exchange yet. It just got released this morning on Tron Trade, yesterday on Kiwi Dex. Somebody said, you got to get into this thing. When it comes out, it's going to be worth hundreds of dollars on the exchange. No, it wouldn't. Why would someone pay hundreds of dollars when you can come over here and mine it for 30 TRX? That's not the case. It might sell at a premium because people like to have the convenience of not mining, but I obviously recommend mining. By the way, links to Tron Trade, links to Tron Bet, links to 888 Tron, everything's going to be down in the description or pinned in the comments. You can check that out if you want and come here yourself. But the price is never going to skyrocket to 100 TRX currently, in my opinion, as long as it's mineable. Now, once the mining ends, that's when things are going to be, that's when there's a bit more of a wild card. I think it depends on future development. If it continues to be somewhat profitable, I do think the price of the token could potentially go up, but that's a big wild card. The price just isn't going to skyrocket. Now, I do think that what's going to happen in the medium term, and I don't know if this is going to happen a week from now. I don't think it's going to happen. It's not going to happen by this weekend. And I don't think it's going to happen next week, but, and it might not happen for a month. I don't know. But somewhere along the way, the divs are going to slow down. We're on track right now. We're on track right now to get a massive payout. I'll cover that in a second. But when the divs slow down, at some point, meaning the rate of growth. So we got I forget, I did a video this morning. I think we got 35% payout. 12.5, I think 35% payout or something like that this morning. Well, just so you know, spoiler alert, we're about to blow past that in the next payout. I mean, absolutely. I'm going to predict it now. Again, this is an entertainment channel. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. But I'm going to predict it. My personal opinion is that we are going to blow past that. And I'll get to that in a moment. But I think what's going to happen is when divs start to slow down a little bit, I think people are going to panic and they're going to be like, oh my goodness, the end's coming. People don't realize this isn't like a Ponzi scheme. This isn't a withdrawal contract. It doesn't start to slow down and then suddenly it's going to drop and everything's going to go to zero. But I do think there are a certain segment of people who are holding the token that believe that. And they're literally probably going to dump and the price is going to drop a little bit. I'm expecting to have some Tron on the sidelines when that happens because I'm going to buy in because I don't think the price is going to, I think it's going to give you a better ROI. Meaning, the way you calculate is you add up how much it cost to, well, I'll show you over here on Tron Bet. So Tron Bet right now has got about 2 hours to go. Maybe they'll hit, well, they might hit 20. We'll say 15. So right here, at this very moment, anti-tokens are 20. We'll say 25, just to kind of keep it simple. Their anti-tokens are 25 at this very moment. So if you had bought these 1,100 tokens that I have at 25 Tron, then that would have been a value of 27,000 TRX. Now, I obviously paid more than that because I got it at like 35 Tron. But if that was the case, then that would be the current value. Well, if you earn, let's just say we finish up. Let's keep it, we'll say we'll finish up at 15, okay? I think that's totally reasonable. So if you say, I gotta do 150 because 15 is gonna be too small. Divided by, I'll fix that in a minute. Divided by 27590.25. Okay, 1, 2. So currently, if it only goes, there's another 0 there, by the way, because remember I added a 0. So there's another 0. It's actually a 0.05. 0.12. Is that right? Yeah, I think it's a 0.05 payout, which is quite low. Mind you, Anti had a big win this morning. They actually came back from a 1.6 million loss. So they came from in the negative, and there was 0 payouts. So they've actually made a lot of that back, but somebody's betting pretty big, and there's not a huge player pool right now. But it was a 0.05 return currently, probably in the next 2 hours. That's about where it's going to be. That's how you calculate the return. Now, if you buy the tokens for cheaper, if you only got the tokens for, say, 15, then your ROI would be a lot better. So let's just say that it only cost you 20,000. This is important because I think a lot of people in the community don't realize this. Let's just say it only instead of 27,000, it only cost you 20,000 to buy those. So if that was the case, then 15 divided by 20, 150 divided by 20,000 equals, so that would be 0.075. You would add another 0 because I had to do 150. If I don't do that, the numbers end up not showing up on the calculator. So it would have been 0.075. So the cheaper the Tron is, then the better return you're getting. And a 0.05 is not a bad return. I want to see personally about 0.1 or better. I want to say something about this. By the way, this would be the first time that Anti's not produced a 0.1%. I want to say this because I'm going to get to it again in a minute. A lot of people at like a 0.1% daily return is nothing. And people say, oh, but this is crypto, Yeah, but most things in crypto that pay out 2, 3, 4, 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, most of them are scammy as crap. They're not legitimate businesses that could be sustainable long term. If you get a 0.1% return in anything, and I think that may be possible with these business models long term, or at least you can average that. If you get that, that's over 100% return a year. 365 times 0.1%. 365 365 times 0.1. Sorry, I'm doing that wrong. 365 times divide. 365 divide. $365 times 0.1. Okay, 0.1% would be 36. Not looking forward to a 36, that's for sure. 0.2, 73%. That's more in line. Sorry, I was doing my math wrong. 0.2%, 0.1% would be okay. I probably wouldn't dump my tokens, but I definitely want to see a 0.2, 0.1.5, 0.2%. I want to start getting to that 50, 70, 100% return a year. So a 0.2% return would get you at 70% return a year. There's nothing, period, in Wall Street that would get you to a 70% return. Nothing. There's no business that you can invest in that's going to earn you a 70% return in a year. So And if they hit a 0.3%, they've been at 0.2, 0.5%, 1%, depending on the players. I mean, those are amazing percentages for a long-term sustainable business model. Now, granted, we are so far beyond that right now. We're currently, this is at 34 million. We got a day, and this is crazy. So today I did the math when it was at 1 hour and it was 1 hour and 12, so 2 hours ago. I did the math. We were on track then at the pace that we're on now for we were already at 11% payout on current tokens frozen, which means that if it doesn't speed up anymore, if 888 Tron doesn't speed up anymore, we are already on track to a 44% payout. That's crazy. We were at 27 million. Here, put it another way. We got paid out 80 million today. We were at 27 million when this clock was at 1 hour and 1 day and 12 hours, sorry. Which means 12 hours had passed and we had 3 more 12-hour segments to pass. We were already at 27 million. So multiply that by 4, what is that, 108 million? So we're going to blow past 100 million because tomorrow is going to be a much faster day for mining than today. We're going to blow past 100 million. I'm going to call it now. We're going to do 120 million plus. I feel pretty confident about that. Again, take all that with a grain of salt, but just looking at the path that we're on now, knowing that historically we get to a much faster payout the next day, we're going to do 120 million plus. We literally might see, look at this right now. This is 14,000. We're already seeing a 4-to-1 on ante, 4 Tron per ante. I'm sorry, per frozen 888 token. 4 Tron per token. I think that we could probably end up seeing 15, 12, 15. I think we did 12 this morning. So we could see 15 Tron to 1 ante. I mean, this payout could, if it goes even better than I think, we might see a 50% payout. That is just unbelievable. I mean, that is just unbelievable. Here's the thing. You already know for every token that you own, you're getting this payout guaranteed right now. It's crazy. What opportunity in the world could you invest in and know before you put your money in what return you're going to get out? You already know that you're getting, for almost a 5-to-1, right? Wow. We're going to see, it's almost a 5-to-1. We're going to see, wow, we're going to see 20-to-1. I think we're going to see 20-to-1. We'll see. That's fascinating. I said it here. Let's see if it happens. Wow. Oh my goodness. Sorry, that just blew me away. We're probably going to see a 50% payout. So you already know ahead of time, like before the payout. I thought it was so crazy today that literally before the payout, I was watching it. People were selling their Tron. I mean, they were selling their 888 tokens. I was watching it on the trade, and I was like, I was watching on Kiwi Dex because it wasn't on Tron Trade yet, and I was like, what are people doing? Like, you're taking a massive haircut. We were getting a 30-something% payout. So literally every token they were selling at a 34, I think it was 34%, 36%, whatever, I can't remember. They were selling let's say 34. They were selling at a 34% loss instantly. Because if they were just held the tokens for 30 minutes, they were going to make that in Tron. And it was crazy to watch. I'm like, what are people doing? This is insane. Like, here I am literally trying to do everything I can, every available token in the moment I'm trying to get in that moment. And they were selling. Wow, this is unbelievable. Okay, so there we are. We may see a 50% payout. And this, I want to mention, I want to go look at this real quick. Hang on, I want to show you something a comment that I had. I just wanted to show this. So 88 Tron is now paying 14% per hour per 24 hours. He put this out. I promise you, I don't know how delayed this video was, but 5 hours ago. Hopefully he did this earlier in the day, because 5 hours ago we were probably ahead of 14%, I'm pretty sure. But then again, you know, there's a delay, there's editing, that sort of thing. So maybe it was 14% when he looked at it, but we were way beyond that at this current moment. Or that's 30. He might have been looking at the previous day. He might have been looking backwards. We're on track to blow it away. So, by the way, this is Truce. You need to come check out Truce's channel. This guy's got one of the funniest, most unique cryptocurrency channels, period, anywhere. He does not get enough play. Not enough people know about his channel. Come check out Truce's channel. This guy, you got to check it out. I mean, his channel, most of it is comedy. Now, he does these live streams. That's what that was right there. But most of his channel is unique comedy that doesn't exist anywhere else in the crypto space. In fact, it probably doesn't exist anywhere else in YouTube. We're lucky to have him as a part of our crypto community. Go check out Truce, subscribe to his channel. All right, so I got this video from this comment from How We Do It. By the way, he's got a great crypto channel, Crypto Slow. He doesn't know this, but I watch his channel from time to time. He's got a good channel. But he said, I'm waiting for ROI before I mine a single more coin. Now, ironically, I actually watched his channel this morning. He's driving in the rain and he's saying that. And instantly when he was saying it, I knew why he was saying it. But I'm like, you've got to do what you can do with your risk. But the odds of what he was saying, there was things that weren't getting accounted for. And I don't know how much he's watched. I don't know how much he watched this with Tron, because 888, with Anti, because 888, the 888 token is following Anti. In fact, it's exceeding Anti. And I'm going to get to that a little bit later in this video. But he was saying, I'm waiting for ROI before I mine a single more coin. Mining increases at an exponential rate, decreasing ROI. So he's talking about dilution. Let's go back and look at that. He's saying mining increases exponentially. And when mining increases exponentially, then you get diluted. Which means if you don't mine more tokens, right now I have, well, not including these, I currently have 3,300 tokens out of 8 million mined. And as more and more people come to the site, more tokens get mined. And he's saying basically you get diluted. But I've not added any more tokens over here. Well, since after this morning's payout I did. But I haven't added, let's see, this morning I got a payout of, I had 2,900 tokens, and I could do the math on that, but I'm not getting diluted by very much. What he is not recognizing, or what he may not be recognizing, first of all, he might not be realizing how much faster the player pool occurs, because if players are coming in at an exponential rate as well, that's the benefit. Now, in the reality, he's playing the safest strategy possible. Period. This is by far the safest strategy. So, but what I said to him was, you can do that you can do that. I said that wrong. But we're on track to earn 44% payout this moment. See, for me, because the payout is so massive, this isn't a 1% payout, a 0.5% payout, a 3% payout. You're talking about being on track to earn a 44% payout. That gives you a lot of grace to be wrong. Like literally the site has to go down, which I guess could happen, but that's about what would have to happen at this point. So we're on track to do a 44% payout. We may do even more than that, but at the very moment that I saw this, we were on track to do 44% payout. I said, my guess is that pace will increase and we may be getting close to a 50% payout. You are absolutely right about the mining rate. What you are not considering is the exponential mining rate is in line with exponential divs as well. Meaning that as mining is mining, the only way that mining happens is by divs getting paid out. The mining cannot occur without dividends going out. And, well, let's keep going. Price to mine also increases. At the rate of compounding, I felt, and currently, that was supposed to be currently am confirmed it was the right decision. Literally, I'll get my full ROI for my initial purchase in the very next payout. That's true, by the way. I'm considering compounding that because the div payout history is strong through the weekend. Historically, divs are very strong through the weekend, meaning that the Sunday payout, Sunday morning, might, or even the Tuesday payout, because we got all of Sunday. Sunday's actually the most powerful day. So I think we're going to get a payout Sunday morning, and then we'll be getting a payout Tuesday morning. So it's possible that Tuesday morning payout could be the be by far the biggest payout. It's hard to say. But that payout, the one after tomorrow or the one after that, could potentially, just a single payout, just one payout, could 2 or 3x my entire investment. Why? Because I've compounded 34% today. I may compound 44% tomorrow. And then if you get even a 30% payout, or God forbid another 50% payout, if that even happens, and yes, if the player pool evaporates, it's going to happen, but what else is better out there? What else is going on? Miners are going to mine this thing. I mean, miners were mining solid. They were getting, 3, 4, 5%, which is much slower than this, but at 60 million tokens. We haven't even cracked 10 million yet. We're not going to hit 60 million. We're not going to hit 50 million. We're probably not going to hit 40 or 30 million by Tuesday. I mean, I guess we could. It all depends on how many people start mining. And I'm going to be talking about that again more in this video a little later. But, and that's the thing. The more people find out about this, this is historic. This has the potential. I was talking about earlier about why you should mine instead of buy on the exchange, because mining grows the div pool, and this div pool increases returns. And as returns get increased, this starts getting people's attention. And this is a huge moment for cryptocurrency beyond what anybody's earning. I mean, these massive earnings are ultimately short term. You're not going to keep getting 20, 30, 40%. To be honest with you, I never thought I would see a 30% payout, much less a 50% payout. Like, I can't even wrap my brain around that. It is so insane. I mean, this is the kind of stuff. There are people sitting on the sidelines that have been watching this. When it's all said and done with, this is the stuff that makes you sick at your stomach. Like, this is going to wreck some people for their entire life. They're going to say, I had a chance to buy Google stock, when it was whatever, cheap, and I didn't, and now look at it. Or Apple stock, and now look at it. People are going to say, I remember when, I owned Bitcoin at $1, $3, $10, $11. Someone told me the other day they owned Bitcoin at $11. No, they owned it. Yeah, I think it was $11. Could you imagine if I think it was 33 Bitcoin at $11 they had. But anyway, and then they sold it in 2000 and something. But anyway, could you imagine if it was before 2010? Could you imagine if they had it now? I think it was before 2010. Anyway, could you imagine if they had it now, where it would be at? But neither here nor there. There are going to be people, this is what this moment's going to be like. I wish I would have been a part of that. I wish I would have been a part of that. And they're just going to miss out on it. But this is going to still garner a lot of attention. I'm thinking if it continues to grow over the next couple of payouts, it increases the odds of getting mainstream attention. And that's going to, if that happens, then who knows how much bigger this can get. Historically, and this is really good for miners and gamblers alike. Overall, meaning the big payouts. This is really good for miners. It's really good for the gamblers. And the other interesting thing about this is a lot of people like to say things like, they like to say, by the way, go check out Crypto Slow's channel as well. If you don't know how we do it, just go search it on YouTube. He's got a great channel. If you don't know how, and I don't mean to say that, I'm saying that his strategy is wrong for me, and I'm telling you why. I'm not saying it's not wrong for him. Everybody needs to, he could be playing, I said down here, he could be playing with much bigger money than I am. I mean, or more Tron. I mean, so everybody, I'm not saying what he's doing is wrong for everyone. I'm saying it's wrong for me, and I'm giving my reasons why. He absolutely is playing by far the safest strategy, without question. But the whole way that these businesses are being run right now, the attention they're creating, a lot of people are like, oh, miners are gone, TronBet is dead. No, it's not. Miners are going to leave 888 too, and it's not going to be dead. The interesting thing about this is a large percentage of the player pool is coming from miners, meaning I hear some people talking, they act like miners are somehow different than the gamblers. No, most overlap a little bit. Very few people only mine and never, ever, ever, ever gamble. I don't gamble a ton on these casinos, although I may change that here in the future, and I've got an idea I want to do on my video on my channel, but I don't gamble a ton, but I have gambled. It's fun. I have gambled on these sites. You saw me do it a while ago. It's fun. And some people have more gamble streak in them. A lot of the people that are on TronBet playing, they're gamblers. Now, there are some gamblers because of, advertising or whatever that have come to these platforms. But the div payouts on the token, that's a unique reward system that hasn't occurred anywhere else. So that's huge for people, and that's huge for gamblers. This has done a lot to create attention for the platform and potentially help the businesses succeed, but we're going to have to wait and see how it all pans out in the long run. So how long can this go on? Let's talk about that for a moment. How long can this go on? I think it depends on market coverage and awareness, like I was talking about earlier. I mean, I find it amazing. Sonny Decree, if you're watching this video, I mean, that guy has had a propensity to be attracted to passive income platforms. He was in BitConnect for a minute before he wasn't. He was in P3D, Proof of Weekends, which was a passive contract on the Ethereum network. He was in that for a minute. I know that he has a propensity. He did Genesis mining forever. He did BitClub Network for a while. I know he has a propensity to this stuff. Same thing with, oh my goodness, Box Mining. Box Mining started out, he used to promote nothing but Genesis mining on his channel. He probably didn't promote it as much as I talk about 888 and stuff, but he did promote it on his channel in the beginning. I cannot believe these. It just blows my mind that those guys aren't talking about this. And maybe they're not talking about it because it's not big enough. It hasn't got their attention. I don't believe for one moment Superman, Sonny Decree, or Box Mining, I cannot believe for one moment none of them are in this. If they are in this bear market, if they're not in this, and you're talking about real businesses that you're able to earn a profit from in a very unique way, a sizable profit that has never been available in human history for the average person to be able to take advantage of, if they are 100% missing this right now and they're not in this, I mean, I don't even know where their credibility as so-called experts goes to. And I don't know that they necessarily call themselves experts, but you know, they're mainstream cryptocurrency guys. I believe that they're probably in here, but they're not talking about it. But I don't know why they're not talking about it. Maybe they don't know yet. Maybe they're not paying attention to Tron, so therefore they don't know. But I don't know how they don't eventually find out about this. And I don't know how they eventually don't pay attention to this. Or even the big websites. How does CCN not cover this? I mean, this kind of return. This is not a scammy ICO. This is not a pyramid scheme. You're talking about real businesses producing real revenues and being able to pay out in a unique way where the token holders literally have ownership in the business. And that's something that I think some people are missing out. Unfortunately, some people are grabbing this and it's like a grab and go. But we actually get to participate in real business growth right now. That's extraordinary, and real business profits in a very unique and a very transparent way that has not been available probably ever in history that I'm aware of. That's incredible. So I don't understand why this hasn't yet got coverage, and maybe it's because it's not old enough. Maybe we need to hit that 50% return. I don't know. And I don't know, you know, to Crypto Slow's comment, at some point we start getting diluted. But so what? It's not at 50%. I do think when we start sliding backwards, I do think the token price is going to fall a little bit. But I don't know when that even happens, because if some of the mainstream cryptocurrency news outlets cover this, if it shows up on CNN or some of those places, even Tron Spark, why are the Tron places, AMB Crypto or whatever, why is Tron Spark not talking about this? Tron Spark, if you're not watching, looking at this, what are you doing? This is huge for the Tron network. But if these major outlets start covering it and we start seeing the typical Bitcoin hodlers or the Ethereum hodlers who just aren't really getting any return, and you know, they're like, you know, where else can I do? What else can I do? If some of those ladies and gentlemen start coming in here and start taking a look at this, it could become extraordinary and it could potentially explode, but there's no guarantee that's going to actually happen. It's already exploding. There's already people, you know, who have been watching for a day or two and missed out on a 30% payout. Now they're coming in. And you can't blame them. I mean, you just can't blame them. So I think it's going to depend on market coverage and whether mainstream crypto news and social influencers pick this up. I'm certain at some point divs are going to slow down, and I think price is going to drop dramatically. But I think whatever the current price is will be in line with a pretty good dividend return. Meaning I'm thinking that we're going to average out to a 0.1%, 0.2%, 0.3% dividend return. I think that's where we're going to be at. I think that's what we're going to kind of average. 50% a year or more, I would love to see. on your holdings, on your basically on your token holdings. Maybe you might even see 100% a year, especially if we're at 0.3% returns and stuff like that. We may see that. We may see some days with 1 or 2%. It just depends. But I think that because this market is extremely inefficient, just like I told you, this morning we were about to get a 30-something% payout, and people were losing 30% value, and they were 1 hour from getting a guaranteed, or even 30 minutes away from getting a guaranteed 30% bonus. The price was never going to drop by 30% after the payout. It just wasn't. It was like people thought they were going to get this massive payout and everybody's going to quit. I mean, I can't even understand human psychology to think that's how that's going to work. But obviously it's not how it's going to work, and it's not how it's going to work tomorrow either, by the way. But that's what people, I think, might have been filtered for. I don't know. I don't really know what they were thinking. But what I can tell you is that the market's always a little bit irrational. Today, even on Tron Bet, we just showed them earning a 0.5% is what I just showed in my math. But the reality is they've come from a 1.6% negative TRX because people were winning on the platform, which means they've actually gained over 2 million Tron today. If people are gambling that big, then that means sooner or later they're going to lose that big as well. So we're at 2 million Tron earned today. If they had started from 0, then this would already be a 0.1% return for the day. And that's really about the lowest I've seen. They've been doing pretty good at getting about 2 million Tron. It also depends on how future development occurs on these platforms. I mean, let's talk about that for a minute. What is the future of these casino dApps? Well, Tron, I'll take these individually, and I'll be wrapping up with this. Tron Bet has a low house edge. And a lot of people think that somehow that's going to attract everybody. Let me just say this. A low house edge can be a detriment to the business. And I'm going to show you how much of a detriment it can be here in a moment, because people are not talking about this, and maybe they just don't understand it. But it's right in front of you if you look at it. I'm going to show you, so you'll be in the know. You're going to know so much more about this than other people. And I have a little bit of background in gaming. Many years ago, one of the first businesses I ever started was basically a strategy newsletter. We're talking about over 15 years ago, probably 18 years ago, a strategy newsletter for online casinos and even some brick and mortar casinos. There's little strategies. Like, do you know? I'll give you one strategy that people don't always know. If you play slots, I don't recommend it. I don't play slots, but people love them, so therefore I wrote about it. If you play slots and you go into a casino, anytime you see, always play the slots away from the walkway, the obscure slots, because they tend to pay out a little bit better than the ones that are in high traffic areas, because the casino knows that they're going to get a lot of traffic. Oftentimes casinos will publish, they'll advertise it openly sometimes, like they'll say things like, pay out 98% or whatever. That all that has to mean is one machine pays out 98%. And that one machine is not going to be in the high traffic area. That's just a tip if you play slots in casinos. Again, I don't recommend it. Also, it's not wise to play in casinos, even though I've done it, on any boat, cruise ships or whatever, because you're stuck and they know it. You're in that simple area. You never have odds that are in your favor. So, meaning that you tend to have games that have much higher house edges that works against you because they have a captive audience and there's no competition. You're out there on that boat somewhere. So, but neither here nor there. People think that because Tron Bet has a low house edge that that's going to attract all the players. And unfortunately, even though that is the right mentality, if you want to try to win as much as possible or lose as little as possible, you want to play where the house or the bets are the most or the least against you. The least against you. The challenge is, if that was true, most gamblers don't bet smart ever. So I mean, if you go, for example, to a craps table, the best bet on the craps table is the don't pass bet. But practically nobody plays the don't pass bet. It proves that there are other things that attract gamblers far better than just low house edge. Also, on the casino, some of the worst bet in the craps table, some of the worst bets are in the middle. But people play those middle bets all the time. There's horrible house edges of like 10%, 12% against the player, and people play them all the time. Also, there's like this Wheel of Fortune game that's in a lot of casinos, the big wheel, and it's got like dollar amounts on it. It's not really the Wheel of Fortune, but they call it something, Wheel of Luck or whatever. It's got all these dollar amounts on it. That thing has huge house advantages, meaning that the odds against the player are huge. But you can go to casinos and it's loaded up. People are standing around it in a huge group, everybody watching it together. It is proven that a low house edge alone does not attract players. What does attract players is game offerings. Now, supposedly TronBet's going to come out with 2 more games. Now, I'm going to tell you where 888's strength is here in a moment because this is getting overlooked radically. But TronBet is supposed to be coming out with a game this week, I think. Let's see. They're doing a massive promotion over here on Twitter. This is smart. I heard people criticize this. I think that's just wrong. This is awesome. Anti-burn, 96,000. That's always a good thing. That's a good job. They're sucking up to Justin's son. Okay, they're giving away 5 Teslas. They're giving away 5 Teslas. So this begins, I guess, on the 18th to the 31st. So they're supposed to be bringing out poker, I'm told, on the 18th, March 18th to March 31st. They're giving away 5 Teslas. If this gets covered, and it could get covered by, say, CCN or any other Tron Spark, any other mainstream crypto space, if it gets covered, if a popular YouTuber happens to win this and it gets covered, that's going to attract attention. That's good. That's huge, huge. And they roll out a game and the game's good. If they roll out poker and it works well, even if it's video poker, people think that player versus player poker, like Texas Hold'em rooms, for example, or multiplayer online, I hear people say it's not going to do well unless it's player versus player. That is not true. Video poker is a far and away, by far, not even close. You can look up the statistics. Video poker by far makes more profit for casinos than player versus player all day long. It's not even a question. That's why a lot of casinos are currently shutting down their poker rooms. Over the past 10 years, a lot of poker rooms have shut down their casinos, or they've shut down. A lot of casinos have shut down their poker rooms, or they've shrunken the amount of tables that are in their poker rooms. It's not as profitable as people think, but it does create a lot of buzz. It is unique. It needs to come out at some point in the crypto space, and it hasn't come out in this way before. There are casinos that take Bitcoin, but that's not the same thing. So if it's player versus player, that's awesome. If it's video poker, it's still awesome. As long as it works well and it's not glitchy. That's the most important thing. If they put out software and it's ugly or it's glitchy, and ugly is not as bad as glitchy. But if they put out software and it works, and if it's beautiful, that's going to be awesome. Now, nothing about this website looks beautiful other than the graphics. If you go look at their games are ugly. TronBet actually has better looking games than their games. Their games are fun. Don't get me wrong. I like Ring. Moon's interesting. Their games are fun, but they're not pretty. That's by far. They're not beautiful at all. But it looks like they're about to release a poker game. That's going to be fascinating. They're doing big things. They're doing big promotions. When you're giving away cars, as long as they can profitably continue to do stuff like that, if they can give away cars and they can give away vacations, if they can give away stuff like that and get attention on it, that's going to be huge and ultimately make their token profitable. That's going to be unbelievable for them. We just have to wait and see what happens. I think that it's possible long term, either one of these platforms can be returning a 0.1, 0.2%. We'll have to wait and see if that's possible. I'm hoping it's possible. Let's talk about the advantage of 888, what they have going in their favor, because I think people don't understand 888. This is huge. First of all, the smallest, let me stop this. The smallest, my wallet's behind the thing. The smallest amount that you can bet on 888 is 50. The smallest you can bet on TronBet is 10. This is their similar version. They do it differently. But that's their minimum bet, 10. Minimum, 10. 888, 50. That's the minimum. Which is still a small amount, by the way. 50 TRX is nothing. 50 TRX is nothing. That's what, 50 cents, I think, roughly? Or is it $1? I think it's 2 cents each. It's $1. So, $1 some change. So, that's nothing. But 10 is even smaller. So let's just consider something for a moment. Let's just say that the same amount of players, are playing minimum bets on Tron Bet, 10. They're playing 10 at a 2.5, I think it's a 1.5. At 1.5 house advantage, if I understand properly. If it's a 1.5 house edge, then, and they're saying 3.5 over here, 888, we'll just call it 3, just to keep it simple. It's double. If their house edge is twice as big, and their house edge is half as big as 888, then what that means is, with the same amount of players, just on the house edge alone, ante needs double the players to be able to match the earnings that 888 can earn. But it goes even further. The minimum bet is 10. The minimum bet over here is 5 times more. 5 times more. So if they don't change anything, what that means is that with the same number of players only betting the minimum bet, with the min bets being 5 times higher and double the house edge, well, that's a 90% difference in profitability with the same exact player base, which means that 888 can have 10% of the players that are on Tron Bet, if they're all minimum players. They can have 10% of the players and still be as profitable. Now, obviously there's variance in there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. People are going to say things like, well, whales are going to play here because that house edge thing. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. If that was the case, then that's just not the case. Whales don't always play smart based on house edge. They play because of how they feel. They play because of the vibe they get. I hear people say all the time, I can't mine with 50. I'm unlucky when I mine with 50. I got to mine with 100. I'm luckier when I mine with 100. I just feel better about it, okay? It makes absolutely no difference as long as you have a large enough balance to cover. It makes no difference statistically. But people use their feeling and their guts and how they feel all the time. Therefore, based off profitability alone, based off the fact that currently their games look better, this is their ring game. This looks way better than the one over on Tron Bet. And they actually have slots. Tron Bet doesn't have slots yet. So in some ways, they're actually ahead of the game. Now, let's see what happens if they come out with blackjack, flip-flop, to the moon, baccarat, roulette, poker. We'll see what all this looks like and how it happens. I'm assuming that's a video thing. Now, one thing I like about Tron Bet that I didn't talk about, I love this social thing over here at Tron Bet. It's a lot more fun to play when you're watching all this over here. It's a lot more fun to play. This game is a lot of fun. And I don't even chat, but it's fun to read. There's that social aspect that Tron Bet has that 888 doesn't have. I don't care who ultimately wins. I know who's earning the most right now. I don't care who wins. People are like, Tron Bet, I saw someone's video today. They were showing the Telegram group for Tron Bet. They're like, oh, Tron, everybody's over at 888. In fact, if you come over here and read, people start talking about it. Careful with that clone. Mine 888, gamble Tron Bet. Yeah, that's not bad. Thinking to sell some token. Don't know if I should. Cheaper to mine 888. I just bought 10,088 tokens, so I'm sure it will go to shit tomorrow. No, it won't. Think I'll unfreeze half my ante and buy 888 coin. I'm working on my ring addiction. This is awesome, actually, because earlier people were saying don't go to the clone and that sort of thing. So this is awesome. Huh. That's actually good. People are actually, these players are FOMOing into 888. That's actually kind of funny. That is actually a lot funny. Wow. But it doesn't matter who wins. Like, as long as we have the ability to be in both platforms, we can spread our bets across both platforms. I actually think, someone told me earlier they were going to sell some of their 88 tokens and buy ante. Probably not a bad long-term play. Short-term, I'm probably not going to do it with the amount of earnings that we're getting over there. But long-term, it's probably not a bad play. I might, my next payout, if I don't go all in, which I think I might go all in. If I don't go all in on 888, then I may come over here and buy some ante, just because I've got so much in 888 right now. I want to spread it out a little bit. I might buy some ante. At the end of the day, we've got to pay attention to what happens in this space. Will there be other players? I don't know. And meaning other businesses in this space. Will they have any true competition? I don't know. Will they be the market leaders? Will they last 6 months? Will they last a year? Will they last the next 5 years? I can't tell you the answer to that. All I can tell you is today, both offer a very unique opportunity to be able to earn passively in the cryptocurrency space. And they do have the potential to allow us to be able to earn passively for weeks, months, and dare I say years. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I freaking love you for watching my content. I think I put out too much content sometimes, but I get so excited about this space. All the links are down below. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment about anything that you, any of your opinions, thoughts that you feel about anything that I've said. If you disagree, let me know that. I just want to interact with you. I'm going to reply to you. Leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.